You are listening to Japan Experts, the podcast that helps you plan, book, and enjoy an effortless and immersive journey to Japan. Excited to visit Japan but overwhelmed by endless options, confusing transport, or language barriers? I get it. I'm Miyuki Seguchi, licensed guide and your cultural bridge to Japan. I've helped countless travelers turn their Japan dreams into seamless and unforgettable adventures, and I'll help you do the same. In every episode, you'll discover local tips, expert knowledge, and first-hand insights to plan with peace, travel confidently, and create lifelong memories in Japan. Ready to do this, Cassie? Let's dive in! Do you know what surprised me the most? When I speak with travelers about hiring a guide in Japan. Many people tell me they are considering hiring a guide because they are worried about getting around, concerned about a language barrier, or they want somebody to explain Japanese history and culture. And I completely understand that. But after working with hundreds of travelers from the US, Australia, and Europe, I've noticed that the things people appreciate the most are often not what they expected before the tour. In fact, some of the moments my guests talk about months or even years later have nothing to do with navigation, translation, or historical information. So, what is the real value of hiring a guide in Japan? And what can a great guide actually do that you may not have thought about before? That's exactly what I'd like to talk about today. Because I believe there is often a big gap between the role people expect a guide to play and the value a great guide can actually bring to a trip. And understanding this could completely change the way you approach guided experiences in Japan. Okay, so let's start with what many people expect a guide to do. The typical role of a guide is to help travelers see the highlights of a destination in the time they have available. A good example would be a tour in Kyoto covering places like Arashiyama Bamboo Forest, the Golden Pavilion, and Fushimi Inari Shrine all in a single day. You may want to join this type of tour because it feels convenient. Somebody is taking care of the logistics and helping you visit all the places you've seen in photos before coming to Japan. But here's the thing. If your motivation is simply to visit those places and take photos, you can often do that on your own. There is already plenty of information available online. You can easily find direction, opening hours, and basic information. So, what kind of experience can you expect from a great guide? In my opinion, a great guide helps you with the things that are much harder to do on your own. It's not simply showing you around or helping you visit the places on your list. It's introducing you to places and experiences that you wouldn't have found otherwise. You may be excited to visit the famous spots now, but when you arrive and see the crowds of tourists at every major destination, the chances are you'll want to appreciate something different too. A quiet street just off the main road where you can observe everyday life. A small local business where everything is written in Japanese and few international visitors would think of walking in. A cultural experience that is only available through local connections. These are the types of experiences that many travelers remember long after they've returned home. And in my experience, helping people discover those opportunities is one of the most valuable things a great guide can do. Another role people often associate with guides in Japan is helping with language. And that's certainly part of what a guide can help you with. But these days, people can easily use translation apps when ordering food or buying something in a shop. And the truth is, the language barrier isn't usually the biggest challenge. The bigger challenge is often communicating with locals beyond the transactional level. There are cultural differences, social expectations, and subtle nuances that can easily lead to misunderstandings. This is where a great guide can play a much more important role. If you're with a great guide, you may be introduced to a local artisan, craftspeople, or specialist with whom they have built a relationship over many years. Through those introductions, you'll be welcomed personally and spend time with them in a way that would be difficult to experience if you were simply stopping by as a complete stranger. Japanese people are generally kinda happy to have a chat with international visitors, but if somebody can introduce you personally, remove the frustration of the language barrier, and help facilitate the conversation, it becomes much easier to create the foundation where genuine connections can happen. Helping local people understand where you are coming from, what interests you, and why you choose to visit their area or meet them specifically, and helping you understand the stories, intentions, and passions of local people while prompting questions you may not have thought to ask yourself. When a guide can become that bridge, conversations happen much more naturally and create spontaneous encounters that you could never plan for. In fact, many of my guests often tell me that these spontaneous and unexpected conversations became the major highlights of their trip. And those are the moments that stay with you long after you return home, more than where you went or what a particular site was about. The third role people often expect guides to play is providing information. One of the most common things I hear from travelers who have been to Japan is, "We visited so many temples and shrines that they eventually started looking similar." And honestly, I understand why people feel that way. But in my opinion, the issue isn't that you visited too many temples and shrines. Of course, there are more places to visit than you could possibly enjoy, even for a Japanese person. And that's something I often help my clients with through personalized trip planning support. But the bigger issue is that you didn't get the opportunity to understand why each place was significant. Information alone doesn't make these places interesting. What makes it interesting is understanding why something matters through the stories, people, and the traditions that are often connected to everyday life here in Japan. And this is where great guides can make a significant difference. They don't simply share facts and figures. They help you connect what you are seeing with a broader story of Japan. They help explain why something is different, how it relates to everyday life, and why local people care about it. These local perspectives are often something you can only gain when you are with a great guide on site. And that deeper understanding comes from living in that area, being part of the community, and spending years learning about the place. And in my opinion, that's what creates a more meaningful experience. So, if you are thinking about hiring a guide in Japan, my suggestion is to think beyond the traditional role of a guide. The real value of a great guide isn't simply helping you get around, giving word-for-word translation, or sharing information. A great guide helps you discover places and experiences you may not otherwise find. They help create meaningful interactions with local people, and they help you see Japan from perspectives you may never have considered before. Because at the end of the day, the most memorable part of travel is often the people you meet and the experiences you share with them. I hope this has given you a different perspective on what great guides can do and how to make the most of spending time with one. If you enjoyed this episode and would like more insights into planning a meaningful trip to Japan, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. I share new content regularly about creating a more personalized and meaningful trip through local experiences in Japan. And if you'd like to connect with me directly, you're very welcome to find me on Instagram at japan.experts. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I can't wait to share more Japan travel insights with you in the next episode. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful week. Let's craft your dream Japan trip together. Head over to Instagram at japan.experts and DM me Japan. I'll personally share expert insights and recommendations to help you plan with ease and feel confident about your trip, so you can make unforgettable lifelong memories in Japan. Not on Instagram, no worries. Join the Japan Experts community on Facebook, where I share exclusive travel tips and answer your questions, or grab one of my free Japan travel guides. All the links are in the show notes. I can't wait to connect with you soon.